request the camera may be put on, else it will be off. All the presentations will be rated for IconSWM CE Excellence Award 2021. I request respective responsible persons to kindly put the rating for each of the presentations on the rating sheet which is already provided to you. I request to adhere to the duration of the presentation time of 12 minutes to avoid delay. The question answer session will be at the end of all presentations. Questions and queries may be asked only in the chat box to the specific speakers. The chairs kindly write the chair summary of the session, present at the session end, and send it to our email. I request all the presenters to kindly confirm their attendance in the chat box. Please make a note. I repeat, all the presenters kindly confirm your attendance in the chat box. I request the chair to kindly start the sessions.
Thank you very much, Dinesh. Once again, very good morning to you. We are already delayed in starting the session because of some technical glitch somewhere. I apologize for that, but I couldn't have done anything. Anyway, so we start this session. I would just say a few words and then you will leave it to the speaker. Dinesh has already mentioned the importance of the time, 12 minutes for special session speakers each. And there are lots of sessions, lots of speakers later on, so they'll all be delayed unless we can finish in time. So I would only say that the world or the earth is very small, and we have limited resources. But the explosion of mankind is coming, the demand is coming in an almost unlimited way. Where from we'll get our resources? Unless we recycle the resources, reuse the resources, then it is circular economy, or at least recycle in some other industry. So we have to do that. So I will give more comments as I go on in the whole session. So without further ado, I would like to call the first speaker. The first speaker is Mrs. Bini Samal from India, a lurking danger in solid waste management, domestic and household hazardous waste. Is Mr. Bini Samal here? Bini Samal, are you here, please? Bini Samal, are you here? Ruktim?
I think he is not there, sir.
Okay, all right. If he is not joined there, then I will go to the next speaker. We'll see if he comes later on. We'll see what we can do. The next speaker is Abhishek Kumar Awasthi in Nanjing, China. His paper is on solving the e-waste issue in Asia region, challenges and prospects. Is Abhishek Kumar Awasthi here, please? Abhishek Kumar Awasthi, are you here from Nanjing? Someone should have checked their attendance. Anyway, it is not the chairman is late. I think all the speakers are not even here. All right, we'll go to the Abhishek. Did I hear you, Abhishek Awasthi? No, that was wrong. Okay, we'll go to the third speaker, Sadhan Ghosh. He should be here at least. Sadhan, are you here?
Yes, sir.
What is
hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. I will be presenting that team, sir.
Oh, for Sadhan?
Yeah,
yes, sir.
I
Yes,
am
sir.
Haribashai Square.
237. Waste management in the city.
Yeah. I will be presenting that one.
237, you will be presenting. All right.
Yes, sir.
Your name is?
Haribashai Square.
Hari Prasad Swear. Okay.
Yes.
All right. The floor is all yours. The time is 12 minutes. Please share your screen if you have a presentation.
Yes, sir. So a very good morning to you all. The Professor Alok Mukherjee, the chairperson, all the organizers of this international conference, and all the participants. My name is Haribashai Swear. I am from Shillong, from Synod College, Shillong. And together with Professor Sadhan Kumar, I hope I am audible, sir.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, okay.
You are audible. You
And
are
together
audible, visible.
with Professor Sadhan Kumar Ghosh and the colleagues of Synod College and some members from the Shillong Municipal Board, we have prepared one paper presentations which I will be sharing it now.
Your paper is on waste management in the city in Northeast Hills, Shillong. A case study, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please go ahead.
So can you see my presentation, sir?
Yes, yes. You have to make it full screen, I think.
Yes, sir. So is it okay now?
Yeah, now it's okay. Absolutely okay.
Okay,
Please go
thank
ahead.
you very much, sir. So the topic of my presentation today is waste management in the city in northeastern India, in the hills of northeastern India, Shillong, a case study. Now, first of all, let me just give a brief introduction about the Shillong city. Now, the Shillong city is located in the Shillong Plateau, which is in northeast India, and is mainly surrounded by the three hills, that is the Lom Sopet Beneng, Lom Ding Ye, and Lom Shillong, which is an object of worship for the locals. In the local dialect, Lom, L-U-M, Lom means hills. So it is one of the beautiful hilly cities in India, and the glimpses of the value, a clear perception of the beauty epitomized by nature, it is a destination of tourism. However, Shillong was facing an ugly garbage crisis till the year 2019, and it has threatened to wipe out her claim as the queen of hill station. However, Shillong was one of the first municipalities in the country notified as a station in 1878, presently covering a population of about 4.71 lakhs in 2021, spread across approximately 25.04 square kilometers. Till date, the waste management in the city, it is governed by the Shillong Municipal Board, and the only dumping ground or the landfill is Marten in Maoyong, and the capacity to hold the garbage is decreasing due to the limited landfill. This is according to the reports given by Mupun et al. In 2015. So these are the glimpses of the images which the city is facing. Now, the solid waste management project was established and implemented in the city since 2019 in order to improve the cleanliness, the sanitation, by raising awareness of the community, waste storing and waste generation sources, collection, segregation, recycling, and final disposal in the city. So in this paper, I will be reviewing the present situation and the improvement due to this newly integrated waste management system in comparison to the previous conditions. So the first step which was taken in this solid waste management project was the awareness of the community. Now, the Shillong Municipal Board, in collaboration with the SIMIU, under the Northeastern Hill Region Capital City Development Investment Program, funded by ADB and MOUD, formed a special team which is known as a Community Participation and Public Awareness Team. Now, the objective of formation of this team is to create an intensive awareness program on the best practice of waste management. In fact, Shillong is the first town in the city to start segregation of waste at source, even before the solid waste management rule in 2006 is passed. So these are some of the glimpses of the awareness programs which was taken by the Shillong Municipal Board along with the community awareness program. So the programs are listed as follows. So I will not go into the details of all this. I will just mention we have the number of trainings, a total of about 452 events. Then we also have public consultation meetings, then gender plan activities, school student orientation programs, then household waste bins distribution at different localities, inspection and monitoring at different activities, meetings of the different stakeholders, and also the seminars, with a total participants of all the programs accounting to more than 2 lakhs. So these are some of the awareness programs which have been taken up. Now, apart from the awareness program, then comes the waste storing and the waste generating sources. So a follow-up of the awareness programs on the best practice of waste management, the Shillong Municipal Board, it formed a task force committee in all the 38 Dorbar Shnongs. Now, these Dorbar Shnongs are the local community bodies, which are formed by a group of localities or group of villages. Now, in a local dialect, they are known as Dorbar Shnongs, and these Dorbar Shnongs have a play a very, very important role in the society in Meghalaya. So in order to encourage and to enhance the to enhance or to publicize or to get to be successful in this waste management project, they included these 38 Dorbashnongs at first. Now, this Dorbashnongs, the main aim of the main purpose of these Dorbashnong is to monitoring and also to encourage the citizens to segregate waste at source. Now, two color-coded household waste bins, blue and green, along with segregation guidelines, was distributed at a one-time grant to all the residents of the 38 localities that falls under the SMB jurisdiction. Now, distribution of bins was given to the local headman, which is known as the Rangpashnong, and also along with the Dorbashnong members or task force committees. Altogether, a total of 31,674 household bins in the 38 localities received the households, they received these bins. As for the commercial establishments in the market areas, the this SMB from year 2015, they have issued a public notice and individual notice through these local task force committees that each and every shop should segregate their own waste as per the guidelines and should buy their own bins as per the requirements, because they cannot estimate how much of waste which will be produced by these shops. So this is what the team has done. Now the next part is the segregation. So segregation of waste was initially started in the year 2014, way before the implementation of this project. And it was started in one particular locality in the heart of the city, that is in Cliff Colony. This was initiated in June 2015. Later on, the Shillong Municipal Board made it mandatory for all the 38 localities to comply with the segregation of all the household bins or household waste by storing their waste in the color coded bins, that is the biodegradable in the green, the non-biodegradable in the blue. Now the hazardous waste are to be kept separately and hand over whenever the collection truck comes. Now, till the year 2019, the segregation as well was practiced by 70% of the households in the 38 localities, which the Shillong Municipal Board target it to be 100% by 2022. That means next year. Then the collection. For the collection system, they have arranged a transportation system of waste from all the 38 localities that falls under the jurisdiction. And these are also monitored by the local headman, that is the Rangbashnong, and the local task force committees. Altogether, we have a total of 22 garbage collection route plan was put into place, with 2 vehicles plying together in one route plan with stopping zones and timings. Now, the collection trucks, stopping zones, and timings was allotted by the SMB, and the message was conveyed to the residents of the different localities by the Rangbashnongs. Now, altogether, 2 garbage trucks will come at a time. One is biodegradable and non-biodegradable, and for commercial areas, for residential areas, they come on alternate days. But for the commercial areas, every day these trucks will move about. So these are some of the pictures showing the collection. This is from the market areas, and this is from the households. Then the next step is that in order to formalize the rack pickers, the Shillong Municipal Board in the year 2014 registered 44 rack pickers in Market. Now, a livelihood enhancement program through waste management was initiated, and the rack pickers were formed into self-help groups. And because of this formation of this self-help groups, various methods of waste recycling and training was given to these self-help groups. So these are the registered rack pickers. And because of this, they have formed these different self-help groups. And these are the previous rack pickers, which have now turned into composters. We can see they are turned into composters due to the setting up of these different composting units in the landfill site. Now the recycling method. In the year 2015, the SMB through the Swachh Bharat Mission funds set up a waste recovery center in Martin. The main objective of the waste recovery center is to convert waste into resources. Now, in our city here, the one which has been very successful is the biodegradable waste, which is converted into organic compost, piggery, poultry, etc., through various indigenous methods. However, the non-biodegradable waste is resegregated and sold as scraps, because we do not have any such recycling center in our state as such, and most of these are sold as scraps to our neighboring state, that is Assam. So because of all these activities which has been taken up, there is a reduction in the open dumping site. Now, in the year 2011, there are about 108 open dumping sites. Now, out of 108, 58 no longer exist. So there is a reduction by 58 open dumping sites. Then we have 32 number which are reduced by 50%. We have 7 sites which are reduced by above 50 and below 50%. However, we still have 11 which are continued as open dumping sites, and these are mostly in the open markets, but not in and it has been reduced in the residential areas. Then the next one, the waste generation per day in metric ton. As we all know, with the increase in population, also there will be an increase in the waste production. So in 2011, the waste generation per day is 135 metric tons. It has increased to 176 metric tons in 2020. Now, in 2011, the data gives about 121 metric tons from outside the suburban areas and 14 in the suburban areas. However, in 2020, we also have from the SMB, we have 70, outside SMB 88, and outside the suburban areas, we have 18. Then it's the segregation at source. We can clearly see the difference here. In 2011, there is just 39% of waste which has been segregated at source. But in 2020, it has increased to 72%. Now, out of the 70%, with areas which falls under the Shillong Municipal Board is 70%, and outside the SMB, means in the suburban areas, it is 66%. Then also the collection. The collection in 2011 is 126 metric tons, and in 2020, 154 metric tons. The important thing here, which we find it has really improved, is the processing of the waste into compost or whether it's recycled, etc. In 2011, only 3 metric tons has been processed out of the waste.
Very interesting, Mrs. Sor, but I am sorry, you have to close quickly.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sorry, sir. Just few more slides.
Yeah, okay.
In 2020, quickly, we have 18 metric tons, which has been split into the following: composting, recycling, piggery feed, kitchen garden manure, etc. And the disposal sanitary fill in the main sanitary landfill also has reduced drastically from 126 metric tons in 2011 to 95 metric tons in 2020, whereas the hazard dumping is still creating a problem where we still have 4 metric tons in the year 2020. So as we'll come to the conclusion now, there is a massive improvement in the waste management, especially in the segregation at source, collection, processing of the biodegradable waste into wasteful products, into useful products. Amount of open dumping sites at open landfill has also reduced. Formation of community participation and public awareness team by SMB, along with the participation of the Rabach Nong, Dorbash Nong, NGOs, has also enhanced the massive awareness programs and the best practice of waste management in Shillong. Livelihood enhancement program also has improved the livelihood of many rag pickers. However, this is just an initial step. There are still lots of challenges. There are still open dumping sites in the heart of the city. As such, the most important thing which we can do now is mass community awareness and most importantly, changing the attitude of people towards waste segregation and disposal. And this idea has to be instilled in each and every member of the population so that the sustainable waste management system can be achieved successfully in the city. So with that, these few slides, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Haribashai. It was an
Yes, sir,
interesting
thank you very
study,
much.
interesting study, and a success story. I would say a success story, because in
Yes,
all
sir.
waste management that I have seen, success only comes from community involvement. Unless the community, whatever technology you apply, doesn't matter. But unless the community is involved, it's very difficult to make a success. And I'm very glad to see that right from the beginning you form local teams with
Yes, sir.
making the local, take the local collaboration, and that's why you have reached quite an amount of success over the years, and I can see right from segregation collection to reduced dumping compared to the previous years. That was very good, and I'm sure you will get reach at a higher level as we go on past the years.
Yes, sir.
Very
Yes,
good
sir. Thank you.
attempt, very well explained. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
So can I just say one thing? Just a
Please
few
do,
minutes.
please.
Actually, with the help of Professor Sudan Ghosh in our college, we have also inaugurated that day the waste segregation at source in a project in our college. So I would like to convey my
Right.
thank you to
Very
Sir
good.
to Professor Sudan Ghosh. I hope we will be successful in this one also. So thank you very much,
Very,
sir, and
very
the
good.
support from the this conference also. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
And
very much.
Professor and Mr. Mukherjee,
Yeah.
I'm quite sure in the next conference we will be able to present another success story in Fine Art College, Shillong, on respect of waste management collection and treatment, and with the help of all the staff and professors from Fine Art College. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you,
Wonderful,
sir.
wonderful. We look forward to that in the next session, sorry, not session, but next seminar. As you said that you will be ready by then to present a case. Thank you very much. Okay, our
Thank you,
next
sir.
speak. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sir, I request to call serial number 7. That is
Oh, 4-5 is also not here. 4-5-6 not here.
still now not here.
Shadon, I can see very few speakers have come. Number 1, 2 was not there, and now I hear that 4-5-6 also is not there.
And I request all the present kindly confirm their attendance in the chat box.
Some of those are sleeping. Some of those are still sleeping. They did not have their breakfast. So I am calling one guy from China.
Literally
Let
or
us see.
figuratively.
Let
Literally
us
or
see.
figuratively sleeping. But anyway, whatever. So our
Hello, sir. Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
seventh speaker is Mr. Chandrasena, W.J.
Hello,
Chandrasena,
sir.
Raj, and also along with Rajapaksha Karunathan of Sri Lanka. Their
Hello.
paper is about assessment of food waste generation and management, a case study from Kandy. Kandy is a lovely place, just like Shillong story that we heard. Kandy is also a very nice place
Hello,
indeed.
sir.
So, Mr. Chandrasena, the
Hello.
floor is all yours.
Hello, am I audible to you?
So, you are
I'm
Rajapaksha?
I'm Rajapaksha. I'm
All right.
presenting. I'm a co-author of this presentation.
All right, very good. Please go ahead.
Uh, so the topic of this presentation is assessment of food waste generation and management. It's a case study in Kandy municipality in Sri Lanka. These are our authors. Uh, Globally, around 14% of food waste is lost between harvest and retail. The 17% of food is wasted during distribution and consumption stages. So when food is wasted, all the resources we used for the waste generation are wasted, and most of the food waste ended up in landfills and composting. It leads to GHG emission, contributing to climate change, and 8% of global climate change, global anthropogenic GHG emissions due to food waste. So as you can see from this graph, as, as you can see from this graph, the industrialized countries like Latin American countries, So the food waste amount is higher, it's close to 33%, but in South and Southeast Asia, it's less compared to the industrialized countries. But when we see these industrialized countries, most of the food waste is recovered from the wastage. So ultimate food waste in the municipal solid waste is 25%. But in Sri Lankan context, food waste is more than 50% in the municipal solid waste. It's around total food waste is 4,000 metric tons per day. So it's important to focus on food waste assessment to take measures in municipal solid waste management. General objective of this study is to conduct quantitative and qualitative assessment on food waste generation and management at source in Kandy municipal area in Sri Lanka. The specific objectives are to identify food waste generation sources, to determine the types of food waste and reasons for discarding food waste, and to identify common food waste management and disposal practices. Sorry. Research methodology, and so I would like to first tell about the study locations. We have selected Kandy in Central Province. The residential population around 102,000 and the floating population is around 400,000, and the waste generation is 175 tons per day and waste collection is around 140 tons per day in this Kandy municipal area. Kandy Municipal Council is divided into 22 administrative wards for the purpose of administration matters. Sorry, it takes time to move into the next slide.
Are you having any problem?
Yeah, it's slides are not moving. That's why I'm waiting.
Can you help Dinesh?
Next slide.
Slides are not moving. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes?
No,
Yeah.
sir. First person. Then I request her to please send us the presentation by mail. Yeah,
No.
we have a presentation now in the session, so please come. Otherwise, we can't share.
If you can't move the slides, then you have to send it to the secretariat.
No.
Okay.
Then they can help you. Otherwise, they can't help you.
All right, it's moving.
Ah,
These are
it's
the
moving.
sampling.
Maybe
Yeah, it's moving.
after some time.
I think maybe the
Okay.
connection.
How
Go
much?
ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, and this is the sample size and sampling details. We have selected 30 households
All
from
right.
low income.
Will you be able to join? Will you be able to join in next 15 to 20 minutes?
Yeah. So 15 hotels and restaurants, and we have used a stratified random sampling.
So tomorrow is it possible for you? Tomorrow?
Sorry, I can. Hello.
Please come the timing so that I can include.
No, but she's going ahead now. She's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I can go ahead. Yeah. Shall I continue?
Yeah, please carry on.
Yeah.
And you have to carry on quickly because all,
Yeah.
all the time is gone almost. Now, please
Yeah.
go
We
on.
have used stratified random sampling in sample. So data collection was done in two methods. The questionnaire survey used to collect qualitative data. Kitchen diaries and weight measurement, the field weight measurements were used to get the actual primary data, quantitative data from the hotels and as well as from the households. So let's move on to the these some photographs of the field weight measurements. So let's move on to the results and discussion session.
Yeah.
The findings of the study. This is the quantity of food waste generation in households. The waste generation rates per household tends to decrease with the increase of tends to increase with the increase in family income. So low and middle income people having waste generation around 100 kilograms per person per day, but in high income category, it's slightly high. This is the quantity of food waste generation in hotels and restaurants. It represents different types of hotels and restaurants or sample. These are the types of food waste generation in household. So non-edible food waste contributes more to the food waste in the household waste generation than the edible part. And these are the types of food waste in hotels and restaurants. Hotels and restaurants, uneaten plates is the main problem, and it contributes close to 50% of the food waste. And this shows the increasing number of customers and waste generation. So there is a relationship, a positive. And these are the reasons for food waste generation in households. Excess food preparation and waste during preparation. Food spoilage were the main reasons for food waste generation within households. The plate waste, overproduction, or purchasing were the major reasons for food waste generation in hotels and restaurants. So we have discussed about food waste generation, types of food waste generations, and reasons for generation. But now, currently we are moving on to food waste disposal practices. So low income and middle income families solely depend on local authority collection service, but the high income families depend on they have own composting or open dumping due to land availability. But then collection service is used by only 40%. The current food waste disposal practices of hotels and restaurants, only 7% given food waste given to the animal farms such as piggeries, but other than that, rest of the people depend, rest of the hotels and restaurants depend on local authority collection service. These are the conclusions of the study. So statistical analysis did not significant due to limited number of samples, but there is a tendency that food waste generation is increased with the income. Inedible food waste generation during food preparation is higher in household sector, and about 50% of the food waste generation in hotels and restaurants is mainly due to uneaten plates. In Kandy City, poor and middle-income families depend on municipal collections to manage food waste, while high-income households use alternative methods. Hello.
Is that over? Last slide?
Yeah, it's last slide. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Have you finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much
You're
indeed.
welcome.
Food waste is a very significant factor in waste collection, waste segregation, and waste ultimately disposal or utilization of that. It is quite true that it increases as you go to the richer countries, that also increases with the income, more food is wasted. It's a pity. Actually, food waste term should be a contradictory thing. There should not be food waste at all, particularly in developing countries when there are so many poor who are not getting 2 or even 1 square meal a day. So that's an offense. But unfortunately, it is true also what she said, that is increasing. I mean, hotels and restaurants, they cannot assume that if the number of customers increase, the food waste will increase. Of course not. It must not happen. But that is what has happened according to her study for Kandy Town, and I'm sure similar is the case for many, many other towns also. But it is definitely a hazard, big hazard, and we of course have to take care of it. So this one case study gives us certain conclusion, which is in front of your screen. You can see that there are poor and middle income families depend on municipal collection to manage food waste, while high income households use alternative methods such as composting. But that is not so in many other towns, I'm sure. But in Kandy, probably it is. Thank you very much, Rajapaksa, for your nice paper and coming to a nice conclusion. And we'll come back to you if there are questions later on. Okay. Our next speaker, Dinesh, is number 8.
Professor D. Agamotto.
Sir?
He is here.
Yes.
Okay. So the next paper will be by Mr. Agamotto, Agamutu Periatambi, he and also PSM Devadas, they are from Malaysia, and the paper is on waste management and greenhouse gases. Very good. So let us have this paper on waste management and greenhouse gases. The floor is all yours. Would you please put on your camera? Mr. Agamutu, will you please put on your camera?
Okay. No, my video is on.
Your video is on, but I can't see you, unfortunately.
Okay, let me go back.
Yeah, okay, now I can see you. Yeah, fine, fine. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very clear.
Okay, thank you, because I can see myself on the screen.
Yeah, it happens sometimes, but anyway, you go ahead. Don't bother. We can
Okay.
see you and we can hear you.
I will be looking at the waste management and greenhouse gases, Prof. Mukherjee. And the first few slides, I will show the impact of climate change, which is, of course, general knowledge. And then towards the second half, I would like to share with you our own calculations in a number of countries in terms of greenhouse gas emissions and its impact. And so here are the contents of the my presentation. Okay. Now we can see that, I mean, basically it's the human activities that is actually causing all these issues. One of the things is that the sea level has actually risen by about 9 inches since 1880. And then in 2020, the global sea level has already set a new record high of 91.3 meters above the 1993 level. So this is one of the big issues here. And of course, we are also looking at the increase in terms of the over the years, the sea level has actually increased by what 0.14 inches or 3.6 millimeters. So the annual rate of increase in the atmospheric carbon dioxide over the past 60 years is about 100 times faster than the last ice age of 11,000 to 17,000 years ago. Okay, so this actually shows on the left here, you can see that the sea level changing and how it is affecting the global sea level. And also, if you look at on the right side, the global average surface temperature, which has been also going up in the last few decades compared to the earlier dates in the 1880 up to 1940, we didn't have much problem. So we can see that this is of course general knowledge. And
yes.
And
we want
also,
you to come, please, to your topic. Thank you.
Glacier balance, you can see that it's also going down like hell. And of course, the consequences of the atmospheric carbon dioxide increasing in a sharp manner. And why slides are not moving? Okay, so this is the global greenhouse gas emissions by the gas. Of course, the primary culprit is carbon dioxide, mainly from the fossil fuel and industrial processes. Then we have 16% of methane, and then we have also carbon dioxide from the forestry and other land use. And of course, nitrous oxide is also a culprit. Fluoride-based gases at 2%. Although the nitrous oxide is only 6%, but their impact is much higher than even the methane. So here you can see on the right side the contributors, and we are now interested in the waste, which contributes about 3 to 5% of the global man-made greenhouse gas emissions. So this is the issue. And so here we are looking at the global greenhouse gas emissions from all sources. This is the most recent data released by UNEP. And as you can see, the fossil CO2 from the fossil energy is going up very steep, followed by the land use also going up, and then followed by the methane from various sources is increasing very greatly. and nitrous oxide, and lastly, the fluoride gas is also going up. So this is the trend for 2020, and we can see that this is not very good for the global warming. So if you're looking at the waste management perspective, of course, we are looking at more than what, 20, let's see, more than 3% of the 3.4 billion tons in 2050. So this is the average per capita of 0.74 globally, and of course it can change, or it can range from 0.11 to the rural area to about 4.54 kilograms per person per day in the urban centers. So what are we doing with the waste? Actually, if you look at the treatment and disposal, we have about very little composting. Most of it is going to sanitary landfill, about 13%, and we also have open dumps, another 7%, and all these are contributory towards the global warming impact. Okay, so the greenhouse, of course, the most established greenhouse is the CO2, methane, and nitrous oxide. And all these three gases are emitted in the life cycle of waste management. So at different stages, you will see this. And the waste disposal contributes about 3 to 5% of the total greenhouse gas emissions towards global warming. And we are talking about 1.6 billion tons of CO2 equivalent emissions estimated for 2016, and is projected to increase to 2.6 billion tons CO2 equivalent by 2050. So we can see that the situation is very, very gloomy. And then if you are looking, for example, the Japan and examples in Australia, this is the reverse trend where we are seeing that they are able to reduce the impact of the greenhouse gases. Like, for example, solid waste in the Japan, you can see the decreasing trend. And also the waste, the greenhouse gas from biological treatment is also showing a decreasing trend, and so on. And if you look at on the right side, the Australian scenario, similarly, you can see that the greenhouse gas from solid waste is actually decreasing, as well as the solid waste from incineration, as well as wastewater is decreasing. So these are good examples of where we can see that trend is slowly reversing. But if you look at the greenhouse gas emissions from selected countries, then you can see that actually the Indonesia is contributing about 36 million tons of greenhouse gas CO2, and also China 104 million tons of greenhouse gas. Relatively, India is only about 18 million tons of CO2. And even a small country like Malaysia is contributing about 7 million tons of CO2, and all these gas emissions are from the disposal of MSW, municipal solid waste. Okay, now if you look at the how can we reduce, one of the aspects we are talking about is recycling, which will be able to reduce the greenhouse gas. So if you look at this statement here, the greenhouse gas emissions as low as 86 kilograms CO2 equivalent per ton of paint, or as high as 8,143 kilograms is possible if we actually carry out recycling of these materials. So these are the positive impacts that is available. Okay, now let's look at some case studies. I will combine these. I'm not going to talk individually one by one. So we are talking about US, Japan, Malaysia, Pakistan, and Tanzania. So we are actually studying about 17 countries, and here I'm reporting 5 of these. So the management of municipal solid waste for reducing greenhouse emissions vary with the status quo of each country. So different country has got different perspective, different target, and different technologies to tackle this. So countries with open dumping, like most of the developing countries, they must aim for shifting towards sanitary landfills or recycling. This is a pity that most of the developing countries are still using open dumping, which contributes to global warming. And high-income countries also must aim for increasing recycling to have substantial reduction of the greenhouse gas. Now, So this is the municipal solid waste generated in these 5 countries, which I am talking now. As you can see, Japan is quite stabilizing now. They are not increasing, but Malaysia is increasing leaps and bounds over the last 3 years. And then you can see Pakistan is also very high, and same with US and Tanzania. There is also a slight decrease here. So this is the what do you call, the total waste generated, and also the population, and also the GDP. Now, so among these 5 countries, this is the composition, which I think I don't want to go into details, but what I'm trying to say is that the composition depends on the development of the country. Like, for example, in US, there's very little of food waste, but in Tanzania or even in Malaysia, there is so much of food waste, typical of a developing country. And this is the composition. So, of course, why we are saying this is that the food waste, as well as the biomass, actually accounts for the biogas generation. So here we are looking at the different techniques used by these 5 countries. So you can see Tanzania and Pakistan actually uses a lot of open dumps. Malaysia, actually 72% actually still goes to, they call it sanitary landfill, but actually it's not sanitary landfill, it's also open dumps. We only have about 10% is sanitary landfill. Japan is, of course, the other way. The bulk of the waste, or 80% of the waste, goes to incineration. So you can see that the technology employed will have an effect of the greenhouse gas that is generated. Like, for example, in Tanzania or in Pakistan or even in Malaysia, we have a lot of greenhouse gas that is being released passively and contributes to the global warming. So here we have a summary of the solid waste management greenhouse gas calculator analysis. So, for example, in Pakistan, if they do recycling, they can reduce 36% of the greenhouse gas emissions. And Malaysia, if we introduce integrated waste management, we can also reduce about 64% of the greenhouse gas. Followed by recycling, we may also be able to reduce. If we use incineration, of course, we can reduce by 46%. And the United States, of course, they also can use integrated approach and reduce about 127% of greenhouse gas emissions. And recycling may be 32%. In Japan, of course, they can reduce 233% of greenhouse gas emissions by improving the recycling rate and reducing incineration. So you can see that the first column, the blue one, is the status quo. And if they use integrated approach, then you can get an advantage. But if they still want to do incineration, then it is actually bad. So for Malaysia, of course, we have the same. This is the status quo, but we are slowly trying to introduce incineration, but it's a very, very slow process. And the not in my backyard is a big issue for introducing the incineration in Malaysia. So this is the scenario of the various countries that we are reporting for this time. So recycling avoids decomposition of waste materials, so that we can reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. Of course, landfilling and incineration alone may not reduce the greenhouse gas. And of course, incineration with energy is actually the in thing now in China, for example. So we should be eliminating this scattered dumping, open burning and open dumping, establishing a sanitary landfills, and also establishing waste to energy incineration plants instead of just. So finally, a high landfilling results in greater emissions of greenhouse gas. Recycling has been established as one of the best solutions for avoiding greenhouse gas emissions, whereas incineration with energy recovery can also reduce greenhouse emissions. So the current global management of MSW result in high greenhouse gas emissions, as we saw in various slides here. So strategies for reducing greenhouse gas emissions for each country should consider the status quo. As we saw, not all countries can follow a standard procedure, because we see that different countries are using different technology, and therefore the composition is also very highly variable. So we should be looking at the appropriate technology suitable for each country. Overall, recycling and integrated approach are the best strategies for eliminating greenhouse gas emissions from waste sector. So these are just some of my books, just for the
Thank
information.
you very
And
much.
thank you very
Thank
much,
you very much.
Prof. Mukherjee. Thank you very much.
Professor Agamotto, that was a good study, comparative of 4 or 5 countries. And the main important thing in that is that there are developed countries, very highly developed countries, and also developing countries. But certain things are same there, that there are still untreated waste going on. And as you said rightly, recycling is a key. There is no question, not only for avoiding GHG out of waste, but also for our survival. Unless we learn to recycle maximum amount of material, mankind will not find its resources after some decades or something like that. So
Yes,
recycling is
Yep,
the
yep.
main key word. And of course, landfilling is a big no-no, because that is, I think, causing enough damage, not to the only environment, but down deep also in the water resources of the whole world. So food waste still remains substantial. This has been seen by the other paper we heard just before, the substantial. So the last page of conclusion that you have drawn is very right, that MSW generation must not be allowed to increase, and particularly substantial food waste and recycling. And as I said, landfilling is a big no-no. Thank you very much, Professor Agamotto.
You're welcome, Prof.
Is Professor Pradeep Sarkar here? Sorry, Pradeep Shikdar? Professor Pradeep Shikdar,
No, sir,
are
no,
you
sir.
here?
Sir.
Huh?
No, he's not.
He's not here.
He's at the presentation presenter, no? He told us that he didn't able to join because of some
He
problem.
is not able to join. Okay, all right. We will next call upon the speaker, Sylvia Belle. Is she here?
Yes, sir, he is here.
Yeah, okay.
sir.
Mrs. Sylvia Belle, and
Hi.
along with Savandi Kalandra and Cheryl Desa, Linda Nordin, Robbins. They are from Australia, and their paper is on garden organics waste collection and planning in Australia, a systematic literature review. So this paper is mainly about literature review of garden organic waste. So, Mrs. Sylvia, it's all yours.
Thank you. I'll
Just
just
1
share my
second, please.
screen.
Dinesh, would you check whether the absentee speakers have come? Then
Yes,
which
sir.
one of them, and let
Next
me know
speaker
after
is
this is over.
next speaker is the serial number 5. That is Devendra Chandra Boru and P. Das.
Right? Okay. All right. All right. Sylvia, please go on.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sylvia Bella, and I'm an undergrad student from Griffin University. And that's my paper is a systematic literature review, and in the near future, I might extend onto my project. I was privileged to work alongside some amazing individuals on this project. So my project was on food and garden organics, waste collection and planning in Australia. Just a brief background content on my project. Of course, had to do data collection. And after that, I also accessed relevant legislation and planning scheme on waste management in Australia. I also looked at food recycling processes and monitoring system. And after accessing and investigating, I did develop recommendation for efficient food waste collection methods and technology. I also explored the benefit for circular economy and waste collection, organic waste recycling. My research question was, how can local authorities participate in reducing food organic waste from landfill, single unit dwellings, households, multi-unit dwelling households towards improved social and environmental outcomes. The aim of the study was to evaluate how these methods are carried out and how well these collection and associated processing services meet legislative and policy requirements. So this was just a checklist attempt of my process. I came up with the title, resource question, and in order to inquire or get relevant papers for my literature review, came up with key search words. So for the search protocol, I put in food and waste collection and services. So these are just key terms I put into the database to obtain papers from electronic database such as Scopus, Web of Science, Google Scholar, and Library Genesis. After gathering those papers, it came about to 80 papers. So I then went out to do inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria to kind of limit the papers that I was going to evaluate. So at the end of that, out of the 80, I ended up evaluating 41 papers. From my search, I came up with 3 emerging themes. The first one was organic waste collection methods for multi-unit households. And with this, it's a range of food waste collection options that are available to multi-unit households with varying level of access and usage. And such collection methods were the single unit bins, compass, on-site system, in-sink waste disposals, optical sorting, and swap card food waste bins. And the second emerging themes that I came up with was organic waste technology and cost, looking at the efficiency of waste technology and waste treatment. And also the third one was organic waste collection services, looking at transportation, composting, and organic waste collection from households. So the collection methods that I looked at for this project was single wheeling bin system, on-site system, Fogger. Fogger is a one bin system combined with garden waste and food waste. So it's like 85% garden waste and 15% food waste. And then the swap card bin system, which you can find in Southeast Korea. Optical sorting, in-sink waste disposal, and on-the-ground vacuum system. And for the technology, I looked at landfills, anaerobic digestion, composting, and incineration. So just a brief description of the different collection methods that I looked at. As I said before, Fogger is like a 24 and 240 liter bin, consists of 85% garden waste and 15% food waste. And this type of waste collection isn't suitable for multi-unit dwellings as there is no garden space. It might be like it's okay for single unit dwellings, but it's not actually recommended as well. For single bin collection is of 140 liter bin plus a kitchen candice and a kitchen lander provided by local authorities for food waste collection only. Optical sorting is a system consists of sorting different waste streams in different separate color bags for collection at a central location from a central collection system. In-sink waste disposal, it's a really good waste collection method, but this collection method is really expensive. The next one is swap cart food waste bin, which I've stated before can only be found in Southeast Korea. And residents use a radio frequency identification to access this bin. The bin was said to be put to a stop because it was only on a testing for a certain period of time. It's not something that's seen would be going for a long time as of now. The on-site system, this system involves diverting organic waste from landfill and recycling local using centralized organic waste collections. Residents use color-coded waste candies in multi-unit dwellings, a communal waste collection point, and a 2 power nut LFC biodigesters to recycle food waste on site. So this is just a picture of the different waste collection methods. From my evaluation for single bin collection using optical sorting of food waste was considered the best option for food waste household organic waste collection in multi-unit dwellings. This method encourages separation of organic from other waste material and makes the process of food waste treatment easier as it is delivered in a single stream. The collection and transportation costs associated with single bins, which is normally known as FOL, it's cost effective. FOL and optical sorting of food waste help achieve a higher rate of resource recovery and circular economy through anaerobic digestion and composting. This sort of waste collection can be found in the UK, Italy. Local authorities do encourage house owners to separate their food waste using a 10 to 20 liter container. Also in Australia, you can Perth and inner city waste also have introduced full mud service in Australia. It's just these 3 areas. The recycling technology that I looked at is incineration. So these are just pictures of the technologies that I looked at for this project. Because I'm an environmental student, I also had to look at the importance of planning legislation in food waste management. So from there, I was able to come up with some key message, which is policy, strategies, and schemes are important components of organic waste management system. Planning regulation, Planning regulation can control the treatment and management of organic waste to reduce impact on health and the environment. Quality policy can save local authorities significant sums of money and reduce greenhouse gas imports. Also, quality policy can point out innovative approaches to waste management. Conclusion, addressing the issue of food waste collection is important to implement measures that will prevent economic losses and protect the environment. Policy strategies and planning schemes are important components of organic waste management system. Planning regulation can help control the treatment and management of organic waste and reduce impact on health and the environment. Implementing quality collection scheme designed for food waste recycling will not only retain a high proportion, but also capture the traditional non-committed recycler. Combination of social interventions with structural interventions such as social acceptance and education can significantly improve the sources of food waste management. Reducing littering and hygienic problems, reduce container overload, reduce odor can be achieved by implementing best practice strategies for food waste handling and educating residents about how important food waste management is. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. I think it was an exhaustive and systematic literature review on various types of food and organic waste collection in different countries, developing everywhere. Along with that, exploring circular economy, possibility of circular economy in certain waste from landfill onwards to different types of waste treatment system. Including different types of collection and all that. Just one query I had. Have you, while going through your literature review, did you come across any city or any country which is doing underground piping system for conveying of the waste from different distribution points to ultimately a silo or to a treatment plant?
There was a case reported in on the Sunshine Coast in Australia.
I saw a picture like
Yeah,
that, which was
yeah.
shown
So
by you.
in Australia on the Sunshine Coast, there is an underground vacuum system. It's just recently been built there to kind of
Which town, please? Which town?
Australia Sunshine Coast.
Oh, southern coast. Okay,
Yeah.
Australia. All right. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Please wait if you have any questions for later from the
Okay.
audience. Thank you. Okay. Now we will have the paper from, I think it's Devendra C. Barua, you said, Dinesh?
Yes, sir.
Devendra Barua. Okay. This paper is by Devendra Barua along with P. Dasbia R. Hussain, all from India. This is an IT integrated plan for management of municipal solid waste and investigation of its prospect in Tejpur municipality, Assam. So, Mr. Barua, the screen is all yours. Please go ahead. Your time is 12 minutes.
Thank you very much. Without, am I audible?
Yes, you are distinctly audible, and your screen is showing
thank you
on
very
the
much.
screen. We can see the screen also.
This
So it's
is
okay. Please go ahead.
This is a case study. This is a case study in Sonitpur. It's a northeastern part of India, and in the state of Assam, the municipality waste management system has been thoroughly investigated, seen, and then we proposed a plan for a better way of managing the waste. And then we also seen the prospect of integrating the IT, information technology. My colleague, Prabhar, is in the field here, and I request the Prabhar to present it on behalf of our team, including Mr. Rezaul Hussain, myself, Professor D.C. Borwa, and Prabhar. Prabhar, please. Prabhar, you unmute. Unmute. It's muted, Prabhar.
Yes, can you hear me, sir? Hello?
Yes. You please
Yes.
present it now.
Please go ahead.
Please make it full
So,
screen. Yes.
it's an IT integrated. Yes, sir.
You can switch on your camera also, please.
Okay, sir.
Do you have difficulty?
Yeah, a little
Then
bit
please,
of connection issue, sir.
then please
No
go ahead.
problem.
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
because we don't
Go
have
ahead,
much
go ahead.
time left. Please go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, sir. This is an IT integrated plan for management of municipal solid waste and investigation of its prospect in Tezpur municipality, Sonitpur, Assam. So these are the contents: introduction, investigation of existing infrastructure, analysis of improvements in existing system, IT integrated waste management system, energy generation, and its prospect of recycling, economic analysis and business model, challenges and limitations, ecological analysis and conclusion. So here I begin with the introduction part. Proper management of waste is an important for building sustainable and livable cities, but it remains a challenge for many developing countries and cities. A report, Solid Waste Management World Bank, dated 20th September 2020, found that effective waste management is relatively expensive, usually comprising of 20% to 50% of municipal budget. Operating this essential municipal service requires integrated systems that are efficient, sustainable, and socially supported. A large portion of the waste management practices deal with municipal solid waste, which is the bulk of the waste that is created by household, industrial, and commercial activities. Measures of waste management include measures for integrated techno-economic mechanism of a circular economy, effective disposal facilities, export and import control, and optimal sustainable design for products that are produced. Here at Tejpur, we assess the existing infrastructure that is being used for management of the waste generated by the city and how more sustainable and advanced technology can be developed for proper management of the waste and how, and at the end, how it can contribute to a circular economy. Investigation of the existing infrastructure. Located on the outskirts of Tezpur town, and this is the perfect location, there's a solid waste management plant is equipped with a waste segregation machinery, some vehicles for transporting waste, and some other machineries. The quantity of waste generated per day in Tezpur municipality is 40 to 42 tons. The waste is processed and segregated using waste segregation machine. The machine has a waste processing capacity of 25 tons per day, which is much less than the waste received per day, and the rest goes for landfills and dumping. The organic component is handled to produce organic compost, which is packed and used as a fertilizer. The materials such as plastic, cardboard, textile, etc., which can be incinerated, are transported to an energy plant of Dalmia Cement Factory, Umrangso, Dima Hasao in Assam. A large amount of waste is landfilled, and this results in greenhouse gas emissions, contributing to global warming and various types of pollution. Next, we move on to analysis for improvements in the existing system. Based on comprehensive review on municipal waste management system, we proposed a plan of IT integrated management system and its potential application in Tezpur municipality, Assam, India. At present, Tezpur municipality board is handling 42 tons, as I mentioned earlier also, per day of unsegregated waste generated by about 1.02 lakh residents in an area of 7.1 kilometers square. Most operations include collection, handling, and segregation are manual, requiring expenditure and manpower. Transportation of material to the central site require about 10,000 liters of diesel annually. So segregation based two-stage processing So we propose a system, the source segregation based two-stage processing with the involvement of LEG, local energy generation using segregated decomposable portion, and CEG, central energy generation for management of non-decomposable components is conceptualized for Tezpur Municipality Board. Here what we do here is that the decomposable part is segregated at the source, that is at the household, industrial, and commercial level, and through this we process it to a biogas plant located at local level. And the rest non-decomposable part is transported to the central energy generation system located on the outskirts of, that is the Tezpur Municipality Solid Waste Management Plan. There we process it to generate energy for generation of electricity or recycling it. So 7 optimally located LEGs will generate biogas and compost beside supplying recyclable materials to CEG. Moreover, we will be introducing GIS, that is Geographic Information System based mapping for proper and optimal routing of waste transport facility. This will help us to get a detailed map of the area and routes the produced waste to its destination in optimal way. It will also contribute to locating the waste collection point on a detailed map. It also saves a lot of resources, manpower, the liters of diesel that is used, etc. Now the IT integrated part, the IT integrated waste management. We'll be introducing a software application based system, and this will bring out the prospect of proper data management, which will ultimately result for appropriate handling of the waste to be processed. Here we will note, here the application will register the user details such as the name, address, and the amount of waste that is produced by a household in single. The system will comprise of a mobile-based application at the user end and data management software system at the solid waste management plan. The data management software system will also have the details of the waste produced per day, per week, and per month, like that. All the consumers will register in the app. The categories under which a consumer will fall are residential, commercial, restaurants, and hotels. The user will provide information such as name, ward number, address, mobile number. This will raise an awareness among the citizens about the waste management, and they will become more concerned, and since they will get rewards from their waste. The type of waste that is generated will be categorized under the following categories: organic, plastic, textiles, paper, metal, miscellaneous, glass, domestic waste, etc. This intelligent waste management system will help in categorizing the waste at the collection point, which will enable easy segregation and save a lot of time and manpower. So this is the complete flow chart of energy generation and recycling. The waste is segregated, the segregated waste, it is segregated at the collection point, and then it is divided into two components: decomposable part and non-decomposable part. The decomposable part is fed into the local energy generation, where it is processed and used for production of biogas and organic compost. This will save a lot of manpower, and transportation cost will reduce drastically. The non-decomposable part. The non-decomposable part is transported by vehicles to central energy generation, where it is recycled, processed, and the end products ends in recycling and electricity generation. Now, economic analysis and business model. The major cost that lies here is in the initial installation of the dustbins or the biogas plant. The second will be the payment of the individuals involved in the collection. Thirdly, the consumer rewarding system will also contribute to expenditure. And the revenue sources. The major revenue source will be from the trade with the recycling plants.
Prabodh, it's very interesting what you are saying,
Yeah.
but please hurry up a little.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Ah.
The second revenue source can be from the biogas plant. Now the challenges and limitation. The strength, the main advantage here is the reduction of landfill and CO2 emission, will generate energy, ease recycling, and ultimately contribute to circular economy. And the
If you
weakness.
do not mind, you please stop reading. You just take the high point, tell the high points. Reading is not desired
Okay,
here.
sir.
Please take care.
Oh,
That's
okay, sir.
correct. That's correct. But just high points mentioned. You don't have to read everything. That's right. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. The weakness is mainly the implementation of the plan, and the second is the initial setup of LEG and CAG. Now, economic analysis and conclusion. The CO2 emission will be that will be set per year will be 2,685 kg. The amount of waste that will be diverted for landfill is about 5,000 tons. Now, to achieving the above mentioned strategy, we will be raising a significant awareness. We will be needing active participation of all the communities. We wish to address this issue through our economic encouragement process. And then also in this, this is an important issue that this government participation also. Now here with this, I end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think this is a new paper which I think at least in this session I have not seen any IT integration of waste handling. But tell me one thing, is it running, this plant?
No, sir. We are proposing, and local municipality board is very enthusiastic to implement it. Already, we have had an pact with them, and they agree that they will support to implement it. Experimentally, we have started in the university campus because Tezpur University is also one of the major contributors of the waste, collecting the waste and converting into biogas. And we are now understanding the business model prospect over here. The vermicompost one, the biogas two, these two products have been produced. But here, the initial stage, the revenue model is not appropriately fitting. Now we are trying to understand the revenue model. Revenue model not fitting, main reason is that the biogas is not yet a commercial fuel because it has competitor LPG. And then again, fertilizer also vermicompost cost, the local cost production is economics also not going. But we're trying to understand whether we can get the benefit of the carbon your mitigation or carbon capture. If that can be taken care, I think it will be a viable model. We have just started. The end has not yet been achieved. Maybe within 1 year we'll get it. At least some experience will come on real world, sir.
I think it's a very good idea. And if you have one plant in Tezpur, which is a town,
Yes,
I have been there many, many times.
Yes,
If you have it, and that it will serve as a sort of a iconic plant so that other people will try it. But you must make the first plant successful completely. If it is, then I think sure it will catch up from
Thank you
there
very
to
much, sir.
rest of Eastern India first, and maybe later on the other parts of India. But this is a very good attempt that you have taken. I'm glad that you're using GIS. GIS will, I'm sure that its movement of the garbage waste is on trucks, is it?
Yes.
So you can also at any point of time find out which truck is where. That the speaker didn't mention. But apart from locating the routing and you can locate the trucks actually, where which truck is. So that's a big advantage because sometimes they get lost, they go somewhere and all that thing happens. That can be strictly controlled. So it is a very good thing, and it is a real waste management system, intelligent waste management system. And that would be a very good thing for the whole of Eastern India, I think Eastern Northeast, to see such a plant working. I wish you the best of luck, that you get the approval very soon as possible, and then
Thank you very
start
much, sir.
work so
Thank you,
so
sir.
that you
Thank you
can
for your kind words. We're encouraged, sir. We're highly encouraged.
so that you can complete it by next year, next
sir.
calendar year at least. Thank you very much.
Thank
All
you,
right,
sir.
is there any other speaker, Ruktim? You are
No,
on.
sir. No.
No. So far, no. So that brings us to the end of this session. But before that, any question from the audience to any speaker? I have asked a few questions to some speakers, but I would like the audience to participate. So any question to any speaker from the any speaker from the audience? Anyone? I'm sure there are some research scholars here. They don't have any question to any speaker?
In the chat box, there are no questions.
Chat box, there are no questions, but I am also giving an opportunity in case somebody didn't want to use the chat box, if they can come now with any question also. Well, if there is no question,
Hello,
I
sir.
will try to summarize this session. We have had yes.
P Das. I think P
Hello,
Das
sir.
tried to, yeah.
He has come.
Yes, sir. I'm having a question to Dr.
Yeah,
H.
please go ahead. It's just
She
say your
proposed,
name and the question to which
yeah,
speaker
Mr.
and the question.
Prabhadas from Tezpur University.
Yeah,
I
you
have
have
a question to
connected just
Dr.
now.
H. Sir. Sir, how her system is contributing to a circular economy? I am curious to know about that because she
Look,
has done a
it
lot
is.
of field work on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I'll try to answer that question. You see, the whole point of circular economy is comes when you use the waste for the same industry from which the waste was generated. Just to give you an example, a battery company has a lot of shells of the batteries, and they use a lot of lead also. Now, one thing is to sell that, and other thing is to recirculate that, treat that properly, segregate the lead, segregate the material of which the container is made, and then use it again in their own production. That is, it is going in a circle without going out of the factory premises. That is a circular economy. If you can sell it to others, that is also recycling. Like your metal waste or your plastic waste. Today they are sellable. There are people who will buy it. So you can sell it to others. Then it's not really circular economy. It is going, but it is very good also because it is recycled and going to somewhere. So waste also, when the waste is generated, individual household, they can't do anything except using it for as a manure in their own garden. But in a city, how many people have a garden? Main thing is where the treatment plant is located, where you are collecting all waste after segregation and after collection. If you can use it there itself, either as a manure, or you can have a biomethanation plant or a biogeneration plant which is generate electricity and use it on the same plant for collection, segregation, whatever machineries are needed, you use it from same plant. So it is circular economy then in that case. So there are many examples of such things, only not these two that I have given, but there are many examples of circular economy throughout the industry. And I can tell you that more and more companies are now trying to have a circular economy, that is using the waste them and recover the raw material from that and using it themselves instead of sending it out. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, so we had firstly prepared from Ms. Saur from Shillong. That was a very good paper in the sense that it talked about a specific city, specific case study of how to make the waste management much better from a particular city. Shillong is a lovely city, but this lovely city can be destroyed by too much waste, and they have drastically reduced the landfills, and it is now they are going to reduce it even more in future. So open dumping sites are vanishing. That was a very good study. Then we had one from Ms. Rajapaksha and others for the food waste in Sri Lanka. So the state of food waste occurrence in Sri Lanka actually shows that food should not be wasted. You know, in the developing country where people are still hungry, still going hungry, it is a pity that so much food is wasted by the affluence of a particular group of people. So that is something that is deplorable, but it is happening. So we will have to take food waste also. And restaurant, hotels, they have a lot of food waste. Now there is an attempt, like in Calcutta also, there are companies who are collecting all the food waste in a clean condition to feed people who really need it. So that was a good paper. And then Professor Agamutu talked about waste management and greenhouse gases, impact of climate change, and he showed the statistics of how Japan and Australia has done very well in this. And there is a decreasing trend both for generation of waste and also completely for trying to eliminate the dumping sites, etc. Whereas in India, Malaysia, and Indonesia, this is still quite high. in spite of the fact that they are recycling some of the material, but MSW municipal solid waste is increasing. Food waste is substantial. And we know now that landfilling is a no-no, strict no-no, it must go. And the way answer is the recycling. We had a paper from Sylvia Valley along with others. It is actually a systemic literature review for food and organic waste collection, exploring circular economy for possibility of efficient food collection. And they had studied about 41 papers, including all types of waste: food waste, general waste, MSW, e-waste, electronic waste, even. And they said that the organic waste collection method for multiple spherical over waste collection is progressing very well in some countries, but not progressing that well in other countries. And the last paper from Devendra Barua and Prabodh Das, we heard this is a very interesting concept of IT integration in waste segregation, right from segregation to treatment. And this will be a real intelligent waste. We have intelligent system all over. We have intelligent hospital management system. We have intelligent home management system. We have intelligent office management system, and now it will be intelligent waste management system. That is a very good move. And as I said, that the picture they gave for IT, how to do it with the help of IT is improving the extreme system and plant management at the plant level, whether and mobile through mobile in the individual level, the individual consumers or the suppliers of the waste. That so and ultimately recycling at the central generating session and for biomethanation, for energy generation, and so on. So this they have done for with a particular city in view, Tejpur city in northern bank of Assam. I have been there many times, and this 5,000 tons of waste landfill has to be stopped. So they are expecting the approval from the municipal authorities very soon. So they are hoping that they will be able to do something, get some approval next year, and I wish them all the best so that they can have this and as a sort of an iconic plant for Eastern India to follow, and maybe on the national level to follow also later. So these are the papers that we have had in this session, and I just really give a few comments. As I said, started with when I gave my opening few line remarks that our resources are limited. Number of peoples are increasing. This lifestyle is also increasing. So it demands more. We want more iron ore, steel, more fabric, more of everything, more food, more everything. So for that, the earth will not be able to supply everything in time to come, in decades to come. Maybe it will not happen today, but after 4 or 5 decades, unless we do this recycling, unless we do this, follow this circular economy proposal. So the new burning question is firstly resource efficiency. That if I am making 1 kg of iron, 1 kg of steel from, let's say, 2 kg of iron ore, we have to see that 2 kg of iron give us 2 tons of steel, not 1 or 1.5. So that is the resource efficiency, which is more important than the individual efficiency. So the way to go for the world is reduce, recycle, recover, reuse. And the reuse in the own industry becomes a circular economy where the origin of the waste was there. So waste is some material which is produced. When it goes to stack, goes to the drain, it's a waste. You recover it, you recover the valuable materials out of it, then it becomes valuable wealth. You can push it back to your own system or any other system as a raw material. So this is a wonderful thing, but it's not an option any longer. we have to mandatorily to do this, that and India must, particularly because of its population, must do this, otherwise it will be very difficult later to provide for all the people. So, and it is obvious that industry produces two things. One is the finished product, one is the waste. Some produces byproduct also. So waste product cannot be sold, cannot be marketed unless you do the recycling, unless you go into circular economy. This becomes totally waste. And that waste uses man hour, uses machine hour, uses money to produce. Now, any industry person will understand why waste money, wasting resource, wasting money. So nothing should be there which can be called waste, but only the raw material in a physical format after treatment, either in his own industry or in his other industry. Industry people always understand the ROI, return on investment, and return on investment on these type of waste recollection is very high compared to Mada. So it's good that we do it now, at least to a major extent, as we see from the papers, and we also would like to say that it must proceed further. So thank you very much. Particularly all the speakers, they have cooperated tremendously with quite a few good papers, very good ideas and very good initiatives taken. And thank the audience for their patience and the organizers who hand it
Thank you, sir.
Back to Dinesh.
Thank you, sir, for your remarks. Before we leave the session, I request all the delegates to open your camera for photograph. Please open your camera.
No, a lot of cameras are not opened yet. Please open your cameras, switch on your cameras. Itali, Garam, Dinesh Kumar, Asafi Jana Ingaral, Dr. Where is Swear? Narsimha Golia, Kundan Kubar, Proktim Dasgupta, okay, Shamol Mitru, Rajapaksha. Where is she? Devendra Bodua. Yeah, we got Sylvia now. Devendra Bodua, please switch on your camera. Prabodh Das, you have switched off again. I think many people might have broadband issues, connectivity issues if they switch on the camera.
Before we leave the session, I request all the participants to please join the next session in that hall 2, timing 12:30 p.m. IST. That is the plenary session 5 of EU and the UK.
खत्म हो गया नेक्स्ट सेशन में ज्वाइन करना स्टार्ट हो गया नीट का वो वाला पे यू कैन बी आर
Dinesh, they asked a question. Can they be here or they have to rejoin? Have you taken your photograph? You are mute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You have taken your photograph?
Yes, sir.
Anybody has any question? Just now somebody was trying to ask a question for the next session or something. Okay. If there is no question.
We request all the participants to please join the next session in hall 2 in timing 12:30 p.m. IST. That is the plenary session 5.
Okay, thank you very much, all of you. Thank you, Dinesh, and all other organizations, Roktim and others. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.